Yes, people, welcome back to the channel. It's not a how's it going one today, it's a yes, people one today. I hit the like button. What's this, the fifth live in 6 days? Come on. This channel's seen more activity this past week than it did the previous 10 months. But we move, people. I did make promises. I'm not one to break them. But you've had to be patient. So big up the community. But we're here, deadline day, deadline week. And I can't lie to you. A few days ago, I actually thought we're going to do something. I actually thought we're going to do something. And with just under 10 hours to go now, 9 hours, 54 minutes to be exact, it doesn't look like we're doing what we should be doing. I big up the community as well. Jake earlier said, there's still time. Jake, I assume you're young. We will see. You will see. There's not enough time to get a big deal over the line. I know you mentioned a silent deal, but big deals don't tend to be silent. Not this silent, this close to a deadline. You'd expect some rumors, especially when you consider the selling clubs of these quality players would want a bidding war and have other people interested rather than allow it to go under the radar to suit us. But there is 10 hours left, and there might be egg on my face. Hopefully there is come 11 p.m. Hopefully there is, because that would be the best case scenario. And I have to reiterate, I don't ever want to be right about the pessimistic thoughts I have about the way the club is run and the ownership and whatnot. I don't ever want to be right. And recently I've talked about Arsenal being back to square one. Now, listen, people will argue that, 10 years ago we wasn't competing for titles, so this is even progress on that. But when I say square one, I mean back into Champions League, not winning majors, but being content with it. And the transfer window shows every club, every fan base, how content you are with the current position and situation of your club, unless there are extenuating circumstances like these letters that people put together, FFP, PSR. But best believe, if you're going to use those letters, then make sure when I ask about why other clubs don't seem to be following these letters, make sure you're ready with an answer to why. It's us that seems to always follow these letters and be the beacon of class and tradition and all of this stuff. It's frustrating. And I've got Kroenke's on the thumbnail because for me, we can talk about Arteta and Arteta's thoughts about this. We don't really know at this moment in time. I guess these rumors about new contract next week and all of that, or once the transfer window ends, will go a long way in telling us, telling me how happy he has been with what was labeled a few years ago as the final phase. I forgot who said it, but someone talked about phases and 5 phases and year on year and all that. Well, this is phase 5, this is year 5, this is the season off the back of the season where we've done the best across the whole Emirates era, and in some statistics and metrics better than some of the title winning sides we had. People like to mention the amount of goals we scored and use that as a Turkish calm down, we don't need a striker button. But then I'll argue we had the best defense in the league. So do we need a defender? And if we had the best defense in the league last season and the attack got more goals than the Invincibles, which are both facts and both can be used in this same manner, then surely the midfield done their job too, because they knitted together the best defense with the second best attack in the league. I think Man City scored more than us, right? Yeah. So the midfield must be doing their job. So the reality is, and Raya had the most clean sheets and Golden Gloves. So the reality is, I mean, if we're going off the foundation that we don't need a striker, we scored more goals than the Invincibles, then we don't need a defender. We had the best defense in the league. We don't need a midfielder because the midfield protected the best defense in the league and aided the best goal scoring output that this club has seen in Premier League era. We don't need no one then, right? So that's why I just don't get when Arsenal, and big up Linda as well, because this, I don't like people just agreeing, that doesn't really make for good debates. Linda earlier disagreed and said, we're not Real, we're not Barca, we make stars. But Linda, I think what our fans fail to understand, a lot of fans, sorry, let me not just label everyone. What a lot of our fans fail to understand is we was built on the words, history, class, tradition, victory through harmony, and that's in the badge, and well, it was, and so on. It's the club motto. But we're owned by an American billionaire now, and I don't think an American billionaire. And again, pardon me if I'm wrong, but my assumption is an American billionaire don't give a shit about our history, our class, our traditions, right? So there's a balance, right? We love that we came through on those words or those feelings, but there's a balance between allowing those words and those feelings to be manipulated by an owner who's got no real care in the world for those words, those feelings, those traditions. You know, it really comes across more like, Linda, you're arguing for some of the decisions they make rather than the benefit of the club and the situation we're in now, because it sounds romantic. It's romantic. History, class, traditions, it is romantic. But football needs more than romance. It needs ambition. Otherwise, it's ending like Romeo and Juliet. It could be it could be the best romance movie in the world, but dead at the end. Another one of my famous analogies. I think about them on the spot, people. So bear with me, because yeah, it's not like I got a list of them. But it is romantic. We don't buy stars, we make stars. Oh, that's nice. That's cute. Barca make a hell of a lot of stars. Doesn't mean they don't go out and buy a star if they need to go out and buy a star. Real, okay, different kettle of fish, but no one's Real Madrid. No one. Real Madrid were Real Madrid in the 90s, in the 2000s, the 2010s, the 2020s. They're the same. They haven't changed. They've always been bullies. They've always been the best. They've always been the club. And we could argue we've made a few stars already. How many stars are we trying to make? Saka not a star? Saliba not a star? And there's other various positions I could go into and say, I wouldn't attribute Declan Rice being a star down to us. He's only been here a year, but there are Odegaard. I mean, chips were down in terms of the expectation of him, after his bounce onto the scene at 17, 16, or whatever it was, maybe even 15. So we've made stars already. Like we've got an 11, a squad that's got a few stars we've made. But very rarely does a club make a team, a squad full of stars. You have to bring some in. You have to bring some in. Then the argument will be, well, last summer we brought in Declan Rice. We did. We did. Let's not forget, last summer Man City also outspent us, which kind of goes, under the radar, because we done what we should have done for once. And that's why we had so much hope and belief going into last season. A lot of us predicted a title challenge at the bare minimum, and it went to game week 38. So whether you expected a title or expected a title challenge, I think taking it to game week 38 ticks off most of the boxes, aside from getting it over the line, which is the most important box that needs to be ticked this season. But now couple up last summer with this summer and tell me how good last summer was. Because if last summer we spent 180 mil, I don't know how much it was. I'm just going to, because it doesn't matter how much it was. It could be 200. Let's say it was 200 mil we spent last summer. Couple that up with what we've done this summer, net spend and all of that stuff, then break it in half. That 200 we spent last summer, we've essentially saved money this summer. Over 2 summers, we've spent 100 mil. Because we're positive 10, right now. So this club do know how to, they do know how to trick us. It goes back to the whole, we buy Cazorla, we buy Podolski. It's got me thinking, oof, Cazorla, Podolski, Van Persie. That sounds tasty. We can win this if Van Persie has another year like he just done. Oh, but what happens? A few weeks to go to the window. Okay. The plan comes full circle. Van Persie goes to United. The whole belief and hope and excitement of Cazorla and Podolski sucked dry. and then we go and we know what happens next. Similar, this one, it feels similar to me, but I'm pessimistic. I'm negative. What do I know? But I'll be the first one to hold my hands up end of the season if we win the league and say, well done. Because as much as I'd like this club to take risks in the window and buy, going into the season, the way we are now is the biggest risk they could take, in my opinion. Because I'm not one that makes excuses and reasons and fights for some of the nonsense this club does or fails to do. Well, not fails to do nonsense. We don't want them doing nonsense, but you know what I mean. So come May, if we do what we hope to do, what we've waited 20 years plus to do, they've taken the biggest risk and they've got it in the bag. Plus, it would set us up beautifully for next summer with the money we save this season, Champions League money on top of it comes in the next financial year, and then a league title on top of it. Oh my God, that is perfect. That is perfect. Because the market isn't great this summer. It would have to be risks. But as an Arsenal fan who's seen the club take minimal risks in terms of acquisition, which is, I think, what we've done this summer, and take maximum risk in terms of going into the season not ready, far often than they have the other way, because the other way would have been last summer. But far more often, we've gone into the season feeling like we're 1-2 short, sometimes 4-5 short. But, let's focus on the 1-2 because it's most reminiscent to this summer. It feels like we're 1-2 short. Probably the 9th time I'm feeling like this since we've moved into the Emirates. 9th, 10th, maybe 11th. Maybe I'm being too nice. Again, I haven't got the numbers here. Maybe I should have written down how many summers I've been disappointed by this club, but my wrist might hurt after it because I'd be writing a long time. Big up the community sending in the super chats. I've got the super chats there. I've got to talk a little bit more. I feel like I've kept the emotions in. I'm talking calm, I'm not shouting. I'm not spitting out of the mouth. I'm not, losing it. Am I? Am I losing it in a different way? I don't know. 1.3K here. Hit the like button. Let's get up to 1,000 likes because you lot are showing mad love. 90.5K as well. Subscribers. So the road to 100K is here. But I tell you what, I prefer the road to a Premier League title. The 100K will take care of itself. That's down to me. I am the Kroenke of this channel. If it fails, take a shout. I will be held accountable. For the road to the Premier League, that's the one we really want. All Arsenal fans. All Arsenal fans. Young, old. We just want to believe. And listen, a lot of people do believe. And I will caveat it with, we can win the title because Man City haven't strengthened, in my opinion. Man City are a weaker side year on year. After winning the treble, they lost Gundogan and Mahrez. They brought in Doku and Nunes in midfield. One more, I forgot who it was. It doesn't really matter. It hasn't been great. Gavadio, 100 mil or 90 mil, 80 mil, whatever it was. But last year we said they are a weaker side without Gundogan and Mahrez, 2 clutch players. They're weaker. And then this summer they've lost Alvarez, who, listen, as much as Gundogan's come back in, and people have, taken my word in on the Gundogan thing on Big Six, completely wrong. Gundogan's quality. Gundogan's a City legend, and Gundogan done bits for City whilst he was here, and it's a good signing for them. But we look at that signing as a bigger signing than it is because we haven't done what we should have done. Imagine it was the other way. Imagine we brought in a 34-year-old that we used to have. I know it's a bit different because Gundogan won titles for them and whatnot, but I look at Man City, and last summer I feel they got weaker, and this summer I feel they've got weaker. But going backwards is not a great move. Gundogan's a good player. Gundogan's a great signing for them. But for us, it should be one that we look at and say, is this what they're doing? They think they can just bring back 34-year-old Gundo and that's going to be enough. That's how we should be feeling. But we're not feeling like that. We're feeling like, oh, shit, they brought back Gundo. Yeah, it's peak. That's how we're feeling for Gundogan at 34. It's not like they signed Musiala or Wirtz or Rodrigo or like these players that I get. They come in and you're like, oh, man, here we go again. They brought Gundogan back. Alvarez was key to their treble winning season, and Alvarez was good at the start of last season anyway, and filled in here or there along the way to another 4th Premier League title. So losing Alvarez isn't good, isn't great. But people just, we overlooked that. They brought Gundogan back. So Man City are weaker year on year. Last summer, I believe we got stronger with the signing of Declan Rice. Timber as well, unfortunately, didn't work out. And Havertz, in the end, showed sign. Needs to show more, but in the end, showed sign. Man City have got weaker again, but this summer we failed to get stronger. In my opinion, people might say the defense is stronger, but okay. The defense was, if the defense strength level was this, let's just, I hope you're all watching rather than listening. Let's say the strength level of our defense was this. Adding in Calafiori might have brought it to this, right? The strength level of our attack is here. So a sign or two could have brought it up here. That's the areas we need to plug. So people telling me we're stronger in defense, okay, minimally, because we're already so strong. Cool, I like Calafiori, he looks good, nice, thank you. People then take it as I'm disrespecting or I don't rate him. It's nice, well done, but we've gone from here defensively to here defensively. The attack is here. A signing or two brings it here. Do you see the difference, people? Do you see the difference? Now, in the 8th position, Marino, go back to the video. I like the Marino signing. Even someone left a comment saying that my video, Marino, got them more excited than any other video. It's rare that I hear that in terms of the positive side of things. But there you go. I'm happy about Marino because the standard of the 8th position for us was pretty much here. Let me just put it above the strikers because Declan Rice done well in the 8th, but he's not a natural 8. And I think Marino brings that 8 level up here. So it's still a nice little jump. I think there's still some depth to add there to bring it up there, but Nwaneri might fill it in. That's the plan and all not. So the 8th position has been upgraded to an adequate level. The attack hasn't. So in terms of the improvements we've made, I don't feel like we've really strengthened in the areas that needed more strengthening, even though we've strengthened in areas that we were already strong in, or an area defensively. I just don't get it, man. I need to start this calling show so I can talk to some fans that oppose this opinion, because that's the best way for me to get my thoughts out there. When someone challenges you, that I don't know, maybe that's just me, not just me, but a lot of people. When someone challenges you, that gets the best out of you in terms of, I like to shut things down. And some of the nonsense I'm even hearing now with a week to go, I mean, people are justifying some of this. 24 hours to go in what is probably our biggest window in a very long time, if not the Emirates era. Very big window. We're down to 24 hours and I've got Robbie asking me Sterling or Tony. I've got someone else asking Sterling, Tony, or Sancho. What? Why is no one asking Big Steve about Sterling, Tony, and Sancho? Why is no one asking Big Steve about that? Because you don't ask Man City about Sterling, Tony, or Sancho. There's levels to this. But we find it okay. We want to debate it. Oh, I might take him. Yeah, I mean, he's got an attitude. But why? Don't entertain this nonsense. If Sterling comes in, don't act like we've done something, because we've done nothing. That's something that might have fallen into our lap. And I will again caveat it. People know I'm not Sterling's biggest fan, but Sterling, Tony, and Sancho, if you could get the best out of one of them, then Sterling is clear of the three. But why am I talking about Sterling, Tony, and Sancho? For goodness sake. For goodness sake. I'm even looking at myself here. This club's got me like Ty. Ty, look, I'm back. But it feels like they've seen recent videos and said, yo, Josh went on the phone, yo, Turkish is in merch. We're back. Save that money again. Until the next time. That's what I feel. I feel like they've done me. Don't get twisted. It's beautiful. This tracksuit is beautiful. They got my plug at Adidas. She sent me this 3 years ago, whenever it came out. I just didn't wear it because I'm not here to promote when we're doing nonsense. But today we're doing nonsense and I'm here. The thing is, you can't even buy this now. You can't even buy this. So that gives me some. But look at me. Look. On one hand, I'm looking at me. I'm thinking, hey, I look good. This is a nice bit red, black. I love it. On the other hand, I'm looking at myself disgusted. I'm like, look at this mug. They tricked me. They tricked me. But we move. We move. You fell for it, Ak. MW, but I like tracksuits, bro. I just like tracksuits. I fell for it, but tell me, it looks good though, right? At least tell me that, community. Pause. I look good. I need to know that much. What's the percentage? Good mug. Like, which one is it? Like, is it 51 good, 49 mug? Is it 70 mug, 30 good? Which one? How am I looking, people? Hit the like button. Let's get up to 1,000 likes. Mug or good, whichever one you feel. Just hit the like button. Patrick says, relax. Overreacting, my brother. See, we're getting a few of them in. I'm not overreacting. I'm just talking. I don't feel like I'm overreacting. Sometimes people just find that blunt, critical, pessimistic thoughts are an overreaction. I'm not here. I haven't spat at the screen. I haven't shouted. I haven't raised my voice. I'm here talking. So what's the overreaction? Can't we talk about it? Or we talk about it after the fact? But Patrick and whoever else, there was a couple more that said overreacting. Isn't it after the fact that we've done this before? I know, you know, the consensus amongst some fans is wait for the window to shut. How many windows have I seen shut in a similar manner before? Maybe you lot realize that I have a right, or we have a right to question whilst it's still open. And bear in mind, all summer I've been quiet. All summer I've been like, do what you need to do, win the league. Yeah, it's only this week I've started piping up because this week is the realization that maybe they're back to their old ways. And by that, I mean the two people on the thumbnail, you know? So cool, I could wait till the window to shut 10 hours. I could come back and be live in 10 hours. And I guess Patrick and a few others, and big up you lot as well. I'm not getting onto you like that. I'm just saying, I assume then you'd be happy with me talking in the same manner because the window's shut. But I've seen 12 windows shut in the same way. 12 windows. This will be 13 or 14 or 10 or 15. It's what I mean. It's not the first. It's far from the first. So why is it I should wait again? Be excited. 5 years ago. 5 years ago, we was told to be excited. 5 years later, with 10 hours to go in the window, Raheem Sterling is linked to Arsenal. Whilst we're in a net spend of plus 10 million. So let me say that again, just in case people didn't hear that clearly. 5 years ago, be excited. 5 years later, 24 hours to go, Sterling, Tony, or Sancho. That's expired now. That be excited is expired. It's not valid. It's sell by date gone. It's off milk now. Yeah? Take that out of the fridge and dash it. Do you know how many people we've lost in 5 years that heard be excited and thought, all right, I'm going to be excited. Not here no more. Now, when does it come to a point where, all right, you told us be excited, Josh. Now you've got a beard. Yeah, you've done well for yourself. Yeah, challenging me in the beard department. I get that. You got a beard. You're coming out smiling, a bit more smug. Because people are looking at Arsenal like, hey, they're building well. But guess what? Until we win a major, this whole building stuff, it's like building up, seeing a nice yard, brick by brick, beautiful, cream bricks. The grout in between is just special. The thing's got no roof. Why ain't you got a roof? It's the 5th year of building. The bricks are up. It looks beautiful. The townsfolk have looked at it and said, oof, I like this, and done the same. But how come they've got roofs already and we're still waiting for a roof? That's what will be the next thing. Because we're building well. Other clubs are taking note and saying, maybe we should go down that way. But where's the roof? Phase 5 had to be the roof. Where's the roof? Yeah. So all these Chelseas and maybe Uniteds and whoever else that are looking at us and hoping that they can follow the same method and get back to some sort of challenging, I trust that they will try and add the roof at the end of it. Try, it being the key word. because they've tried and failed many times. But it's okay. We can laugh at them, but they try. With Chelsea, it's different now. I mean, I don't know what the hell they're trying now. And with Man United, I mean, I'm not talking about now. Man said more phases than Marvel. Who's got a shoulder injury? Who's got a shoulder injury? Owen says too much negativity. Complain. Townsfolk. Did I say that right? Marino's got a shoulder injury. You're lying. Did he injure his shoulder signing the contract or something? Fab tweet. This guy's breaking news of injuries now. Like, what's going on? What is going on? Let me go to see Fabrizio, man. Oh, shit. Bad news for Arsenal. Mikel Marino injured. He has a shoulder injury and looks like he'll be out a few weeks. He landed on the floor and Gabby landed on top of him. It's a fracture, probably. That's it. It just doesn't make sense. So much for liking that sign, and it's going to be a few more weeks to see him. At the end of the day, I didn't expect him to start against Tottenham or City, so we'll see how that goes. But surely, people, this is further justification that, you know, we should have been a lot more ahead of the game this summer. A lot more ahead of the game this summer. I don't... a fracture, I mean, Gooner Gang, I see that. I mean, when I read fracture, I don't put fracture in a few weeks, if I'm honest with you. Fracture to me sounds like October minimum. I think right September off. That's what I think. You know, fracture, that's what it sounds like. But who am I? I didn't study for all of this stuff. So a few weeks. Well, is that the first time they would have said a few weeks and it's a few months? Hey, let me not be negative. Let me not be negative. Let me not look back and learn off things that have gone on before, because who learns off of things that have gone on before? That would be very stupid of people, right? Things have happened before and you don't learn off it. Why? Why waste your time learning? Why waste your time learning, people? Let it happen. What happened, happened. Yesterday, last week, last year, 10 years ago. Forget it. Blindfold on. That Men in Black thing. I'm going to get one of them Men in Black things on my stream. Yeah, because that's what you lot do sometimes. I need to press it, wipe the memory clear. And the new one is, it's like every season you go in the mirror, bang, we're going to win the league this year. And then you just wake up like, yeah, we're going to win the league this year. Turkish, you're so negative. And I'm the one that said from the end of last season, we're going to win the league this year. So people that are calling me negative, what then? I guess you was happy with me then, right? When I'm saying that we're going to win the league. That's because I expected the club to follow up second place, a big transfer window last year with another big transfer window. Was that too much expectation? The third biggest club who haven't won the league in over 20 years, coming 2 points off Manchester City. Was the expectation that we have another big window outrageous? Am I wrong? Was I wrong? Surely not. But sometimes this is how you lot try and make me feel, or we should feel. Grateful. Grateful? Okay, we've got a team of players we love again. I agree with that more than anyone. Hence, look, it's not just about winning. It's about the connection, the love. I love a lot of the players. Great stuff. Challenging for title 2 years in a row. Back to square one. Challenging. That is square one. But if you ask me prediction now, we'll finish in second. That's my prediction. Can we finish first? Yes. But my prediction is, based off of what I know, is we're going to finish second. And I believe that this season we should have gone into it all saying we're winning the league. All saying it. And even the most positive of fans I see cannot come and say we're winning the league. It's more so, you know, we've got a chance to win the league. But that's my problem. In the summer, the emphasis is on the board and the club to give the fans hope and belief and give the manager the tools necessary. The same manager that said you can't skip a beat in the transfer window when you're competing with Man City. The same manager that said You need to get signings early to get them used to the surroundings. This is our manager that said that. So surely what's happened this summer has gone against his beliefs, his morals, his word, what he wants. Surely. But it's me saying it, so Turkish is negative, pessimistic, all that. So I want people to distinguish, because before, people didn't distinguish my problems with Kroenke and Wenger. My problems were always with Kroenke until Wenger started protecting them the way he protected them. So then Wenger became my problem, because Wenger was a great shield for them, because Wenger could do no wrong for many years. So he protected all of their nonsense. Emery, bit different, but he came out near the end, January, he said, we can't do anything. That's the first time any managers, well, Wenger before that never told us. Emery said, we can't do anything this January, it's peak. If I can get a loan, get a loan. Dennis Suarez comes in, yeah, please. And then he goes and he says, I wanted Zaha, I got Pepe, I wanted Maguire, I got Socrates, and so on. So he didn't get back how he would have liked to been backed. Now we're with Arteta. And things have gone well in the last 3 years in terms of trajectory. First couple of years, mess. But it was a mess that the club left him with. And the club was Stan Kroenke and Josh Kroenke and Mandy Kroenke and whatever other family members he's got. Walmart, include that into it, because his wife owns that. These billionaires. And people get onto me for putting pressure on these billionaires to give us fans something to believe in, hope, love, etc. People get onto me and protect these billionaires and make excuses for them. And probably the guy's wife owns Walmart. I couldn't care less what he thinks about the way I'm saying what I'm saying, or I really couldn't care less, because equally he's getting a lot of love, or they get Josh Kroenke's pictures painted outside the Emirates. But that's fine, right? That's nice. Take a picture next to it. Why not? Beautiful day out. What's he done? Why is Herbert Chapman not out there? Why is Arsene Wenger's painting not out there? I know there's statues. Why is David Dean's painting not out there? I expect to see those three before I see a Josh Kroenke. But Josh Kroenke is there. So go, if you like it, go take a picture of it. Why not? He's right next to, Kevin Campbell, rest in pieces, Saliba's there, I think. Havertz. I mean, they don't even get me started on some of the players that have been here a year and got, but for me, it's Josh. Why? David Dean, Herbert Chapman, Arsene Wenger. For me, those three, come on. And that's just three. I can name a hell of a lot of other people associated with the club that deserve a picture, a painting, more so than him. But that's how far the club's come, that it's back to wool over eyes. They can do no wrong. And that's where people like me come in, because I'm not, as much as I'm backing merch and whatnot, it was hard not to do it. They bring out some nice fucking things. And now we're challenging again. It's more about that. What kind of man would I be if I didn't wear merch and then we won a league title and I just go to the shop and buy it? That's just, that is the definition of glory hunter. It's not just about the winning in terms of being a fan. There's more to it. But now it's about the winning, because we're back to square one, which is challenging. So the next step is winning. But we had to get back to that square one, because we was far from that square one. We was on square 17. A hell of a long journey back. It took a long time. We've lived through it. The horrible runs from November to December, while Smith Rowe saves us and finishing 8th and just finishing 5th on the last 2 days of the leading the league for 30 game weeks and effing it up, taking it to game week 38. We've seen every end of the spectrum in terms of how shit we were a few years ago and how good we've become recently, but the pain that comes with how good you are when you're not good enough. So the final hurdle is be good enough. And that's why I'm frustrated with this window, because Sterling could come in. Listen, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? I don't even want to tell you what I'm thinking, because because I don't know if I'm, again, being a mug. People know my opinion on Sterling, so I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking, because I don't hide. I'm open. I can hold my hands up if I'm talking shit. I can hold my hands up if I'm wrong a few weeks later, a few months later, a year later. I always said Sterling out of Pep's system, dead, right? Dead. And a lot of people are messaging me saying, "Oh, your boy Sterling, oh, ha, 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 you don't like him." I mean, if everyone is right and Arteta is Pep light, then maybe Sterling comes into Arteta's system and we see more of that Sterling we saw in the other system. Because I do think in a system like he's shown at City and Pep, he can bag goals. He can be hella frustrating, but he can bag goals. So when I say if you can get the best out of Sterling, cool. You probably do win the league with him being the signing and attack. You probably do. Because if you can get the best out of Sterling, even now after a couple of dead years, you're getting 15 goals minimum, let's say. 15 goals minimum. I'd also say that Martinelli got 15 on top of the Saka numbers last season, Odegaard and so on. I think, and Havertz. I think we go some way to win the league as well. We cut some of that gap. But my problem is Sterling, 5 years after Be Excited, 10 hours to go. Massive, massive, massive risk. But you know what will happen, people? And I want to tell you now what will happen. What will happen if we don't live up to the expectation of winning a Premier League title now? A lot of people will turn on Arteta. The pressure will be on him, and he'll be the face of the problems that we might face this year. Now, I'm here to say I think that would be wrong. But if he goes to sign a new contract next week, then a lot of people will justify their reasoning behind blaming Arteta on the fact he signed a contract after what would be such a poor window. He obviously agrees, justifies, or whatever with signing a new contract, which I get. I mean, for me, the contract is a big one because I think Arteta knows now as well, success needs to be around the corner. He said himself, we need to win league titles. He said this when we were 5th. So respect to him for that, because he's always maintained from the beginning, as silly as it sounded, that Arsenal will be challenging for titles, should be winning titles, and so on. That went from sounding very silly to now becoming the expectation. Let me get the super chats in anyway, because there is a lot of super chats, and I've been waffling for 38 minutes. So let's see what the super chats are saying. There's 24. Juma Mubarak, Turkish bro, come on. Hope you and son, all good, bro, all good. You see, anytime I think of Zekai, man, I just start smiling. After 38 minutes of just going off on how frustrated I am. Yeah, Zekai is good, man. Zekai is good, and as long as he's good, I'm great. SB says, shout out to you. I was born in September 2002. I went to school in the dark days. 8-2 United, 6-0 Chelsea. I'm hungry for this club to win. I couldn't imagine it. I mean, for me, I don't know, people might disagree, but I think when you're in school and you watch football, that's the best period in life, because once you reach my age, people, mortgage or rent or bills or kids or holidays or tax, all of these things take your attention away from the love of the game and the love of the club. Well, to a lot of people, to me, yeah, because you have other priorities. When you're a kid, it's like all you've got is football and maybe wrestling and maybe whatever else you want to watch. There ain't no bills. You're living life. So to live life through school, 8-2 and 6, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't imagine it. My school life was Henri's and Adams and Bergkamps and Wrights and Anelkas and Vieiras and Petties and Youngbergs and Perez's and Invincibles and Doubles and good times. Good times. But hopefully Zekai's headed into that era. Big up Suj as always. Suj, am I saying your name right as well? Hopefully I'm saying it right. Suj. Just posting to say big up the community. Love for the love. Come on, my guy. Big supporter of the channel. Big mod on the channel. And as I say that, another one in the building. Aran says, big up Turks, get the likes up, people. I probably speak for younger fans. Being 20 years old and seeing FA Cups is jarring. Been this close last 2 years and the club owners waste a huge window just to make a profit. It's disgusting. Be excited. 5 years later, we're in profit and Sterling is linked. Don't talk to me about nothing else. Do not talk to me about nothing else. Just explain. Someone needs to explain. 5 years, be excited. Sterling, 24 hours to go, plus 10 million net profit. It's the opposite of be excited. Arteta papered over Kroenke's cracks. That's the reality. And that's what I'm leaning towards, brother. Like Wenger papered over them for the first years, and the excuses of stadium and whatnot papered over them until there was no paper anymore. The cracks were just there, and these lot were falling in between them. I feel the same now. For me, one of the biggest things that hurt me with Wenger, one of the biggest things is it felt like he chose them over us. It felt like he chose the owners, these leeches over the fans, and none justified that more or justified that thought process more than when he was asked about ticket prices, and he said the ticket prices are for the football on show. We was the highest ticket prices in Europe, finishing 4th, 5th. And our greatest manager, the legend, is coming out to justify what they've done as owners. When I've just heard Jurgen Klopp, who's just come into Liverpool, challenge the same owners, not the same owners, but the owners. He comes in, challenges the owners within 2 months. Oh, the ticket prices in England are mad. In Germany, this is how much it is. But Wenger, who built something so special with us over the years, didn't back up his fellow manager Klopp or his fans, the club's fans. He went and backed Kroenke. The ticket prices are for the football on show. Yeah? Am I a dickhead? Sorry, I don't want to demonetize the thing, but but a lot of people are tapped because a lot of people ran up with it and said, yeah, we pay the highest ticket prices because of the football on show. What football on show? It was Bellerin at right back, Mustafi at centre back, and I don't even remember who we had in centre mid them times. So Arteta, new contract, it will be interesting because, like I said before, for me, Arteta leaving it this long goes against what he said: stability, consistency. For me, he would have signed the contract end of last season to ensure that we all know what's happening. It's not like him to let it go into this season. Now, he might have let it go into the season because of the transfer window and what's not happened. And I hope that is the case. But as soon as, if he does sign after this window, then it will indicate that he's somewhat happy with it, at the very least. Or he's not happy with it, but because we've given him such a big opportunity here at Arsenal, he'll let it fly. One or the other. More so than he's the reason behind it. Edu should be big up Smokey. Come on. Edu should be a used car salesman at best, bro. My man does a lot of waffling and then gives the person buying off them a deal nearly every time. Yeah, up and down. I mean, I think Edu gets more criticism than he probably deserves because a lot of these players that had to go didn't have much value. I mean, I know we look at other clubs and think like, look at Washington, Chelsea going 17 million. I guess, yeah, we could have somehow got a few of those, but yeah, I mean, the players we had and the nonsense we do, I mean, all right, 25 for Eddie's all right, but really it's 15 because we gave him a contract 2 years ago and we've given him 10 mil since. People will say it's a 15 mil profit, but if we sold him a year before that, we probably would have got 15 mil for him then, if not 20. Ramsdale deal, people are upset with 18 mil rising to 25, which it should hit 25. But for me, it's listen, that's on Arteta, that one. He became our second choice keeper. Every club knew we had to get rid of him. So don't get it twisted. That dude hasn't been flawless, but I think our problems still lie above. I really do. I might be wrong. Martin says all this is because they're scared of FFP and PSR. That's what they tell you they are. You think these billionaires are scared of FFP and PSR? They'll eat that fine for breakfast. They will eat those fines for breakfast with sugar on top, sweet, because the fines are interest to these, man. Oh, fine of 30, 300 grand. Oh, go into that account, love, the Walmart account. The interest today might have been 340 bags. There you go, pay that fine. These men are smiling. Oh, Melly, lots of risks being taken. No Saka backup and 17-year-old backing up Odegaard. No real goal-scoring striker. Second goalkeeper is a question, which I don't care about. And a left winger that isn't certified. Shaky. Mikel's actually working miracles. And to be honest, that's why I've turned around on Mikel quite a bit in the last few years, because I look at the personnel and I think, I can't lie. Like, I don't know how we're this good. Don't get twisted. You look at Saliba and you think, "Phew." You look at Odegaard, yeah, there's certain players in there that you think, all right, we know why you're that good. But as a whole, the way we've performed in the last 18, 24 months, it's like, what? So for me, the fact there is Arteta, his philosophy is the reason for this, and these cogs are fitting into his philosophy. But like I said, this season doesn't pan out the way we all hope and expect it to pan out. That the first person of attention will be Mikel Arteta, whether right, whether wrong. Taylor says, I'm 23, so I get why I might have a more optimistic perspective, but we've had 2 big summers. So on PSR's 3rd year, I can see why it might be quieter this summer. Sorry. I'm quietly hoping for Sterling now. I get it, but Taylor, I'd come round and say to you, like, 3 years ago, why did we give Eddie a new contract? Why didn't we get the 20 mil for him then? That potentially would have allowed us to spend a bit more now. Instead, the sale of Eddie now goes on to the next 3-year rollover or whatever the hell it is with PSR. So there's things we could have done in between that I won't forgive and forget. I'm sorry, I won't forgive and forget, because how many times can you forgive and forget this club for doing things that have held us back? But I get it. When you're younger, you are more optimistic, and this is the close to the not close to. This is the best Arsenal side you've seen. That's fair. I get that. It's the best Arsenal side I've seen since Invincibles. So I understand that from that perspective. But I also think these excuses come because of a lack of something 2-3 years ago, and the lack of something doesn't come from me or you, Taylor. It comes from them. If I do something now that costs me 3 years later, I don't erase the fact that I've done this now. And again, I look at other clubs and think, well, how do these letters affect them? How does PSR affect these clubs and FFP affect these clubs? Oh, there's loopholes. Oh, dare I say we should look at one of these loopholes? Can't do that. History, class, tradition. Sorry, don't mind me, people. Don't mind me. Big up Taylor. Gokhan. Big up Gokhan as well. Love and respect for you, Turkish. Come on. First time I see your name here, Gokhan, but real Turkish name. Or Kurdish, it could be either or. Please keep the content coming on this channel. Or it could be Turkish Cypriot. I'm Turkish Cypriot. Please keep the content coming on this channel. I can't stand the excuse crowd at AFTV. I prefer listening to you on here. I assume you watched the I was about to say transfer show yesterday. It was the Champions League, and it's been clipped up, me and Robbie arguing and whatnot. I mean, it ain't easy. It ain't easy. And I'm going live with them later on as well. So more arguments will come because I'm going to be asked about my thoughts on Sterling again. But yeah, 100% I'm active on this channel, my bro. 100% I'm active. Big up Blicky as well, saying 13, 14, and 14, 15. We challenged for the league and won back-to-back FA Cups. All we needed was an elite striker with Ozil and Sanchez to compete, and we didn't do it. Finished second to Leicester. We are repeating the same mistakes. 94, so you're 6 years younger than me, so you're 30-ish. Could be 29, could be 31, but roughly. Yeah. And that's without even going back to the Fabregas era. Let's not go back to that. The beginning of the Emirates era, Fabregas, and listen, Fabregas came out and he said, it felt like a lot of the burden was on me. I was young, I looked around, not many winners. And look, he left and he won things. Not only at Barca, he came to Chelsea and won 2 league titles as well. That hurt. That hurt. Overall, when I look back at it, that hurt more than the Van Persie thing. The Van Persie thing hurt a lot more at the time. But let's go to Van Persie. He said similar about the club's ambitions, showing profit margins more than they're telling him the ambition and targets. He won leagues. He won a league. Being the best player at the side. Top scorer too. And then you can bring in that Sanchez Ozil stuff as well. You can bring that in too. That's 3 examples of times we've been 1-2 pieces away and we haven't done it. because the Fabregas era also has Adebayor, Nasri, and Heleb, and a few more players like that, right? So, not the first time, and I hoped it would have been the last time, but the last time seems to be this time until the next time, which will then be the last time. Keep up. AJ says, Turkish, big up your damn self. This club will be the death of me. I want to make my first Arsenal game this year coming from the US. How do I get tickets? Difficult. If you've got money, you go through Ticketmaster or StubHub or the Arsenal website. If you've got money, go through the Arsenal website, Ticket Exchange. The thing about it is, it's a lottery. You have to keep refreshing depending on what game you want. Obviously, the game doesn't open up till a few weeks before that game is coming up, so you're gonna have to take the risk by booking flights and then closer to the time trying to book the tickets. But you will get a ticket. If you don't really have a cap on how much you're willing to spend on it, you'll definitely get a ticket. If you do have a cap and that cap is below £120, then you're unlikely to get it. If it's a massive game, if that cap is below £200, then you're unlikely to get it. And by big games, I mean Tottenham, United, City, and so on. Hopefully that gives you a better perspective. But I don't deal with tickets, and I don't like dealing with tickets and even being the middleman. I've said it before, but AJ, let's just say I find someone who wants to sell a ticket. Let's just say he tries to scam you, or let's just say you go on the day and the ticket doesn't work, or let's just say he charges you triple that it should be. I don't want to be a part of that. So I don't really like it. But like I said, you can get tickets. It's just they tend to be more expensive than they should be. Louis says the fan base and ownership lack ambition to become an elite club. We are easily pleased, so they don't feel the pressure. Making Michelin with scraps. How? I mean, Louis, that's an age-old problem. Age-old towards the end of Wenger. It really, showed how little ambition or perspective as well, because the perspective was all wrong, let alone asking why there's no ambition. The fans are very protective of every single facet of the club, every single facet. It could be Starboy Saka, or it could be the guy that comes to games in his orange coat. We protect everything, everything. Like I said, Josh Kroenke's got a painting outside the Emirates. So the perspective is so wrong that they can't even see. They need to change the perspective completely. Deathscow says, I think there is a new generation of fan that hasn't felt this type of window before and are coping. That is fine. Fair point. This ownership did this exact type of transfer window to Wenger and then used him as a shield and destroyed him. I mean, you've just echoed my exact words and thoughts over the last however long I've been talking. 100%. 100%. And you're right. I guess you don't learn unless you live. You live, you learn. That's where that saying comes from. We could tell the younger generation as much as we want, even though I'm not saying the younger generation as a whole, because we saw a couple younger fans earlier, a bit pessimistic, a bit nervy about it, still optimistic, but question marks. But you're right. If it's their first experience of it, then it's hard for them to really understand where I'm coming from or where we are coming from, having lived through it multiple times. This would be the fourth time of the Emirates era, because I've just gone through it all. Fabregas, Nasri, Adebayor era, Van Persie, and whoever else was around him era, and the Sanchez Ozil era. Now we're at the Odegaard, Saliba, Saka era. Let's see what we do. And if we don't, next summer, guess who's got 2 years left on their contract? Guess for me. I'm pretty sure Saliba has 2 years left next summer. I'm pretty sure Odegaard has 2 years left next summer. Pretty sure Saka has 2 years left next summer. Pretty sure a couple others would have 2 years left next summer. Interesting. Or not if you ignore it. But ignore it at your own peril. Because we don't win something this year and the next summer comes and these stars are all on 2 years to go. You think one of them, or at least one, if not 2, 3, won't attract some interest? You'll be kidding yourself. And the next thing, we go in 12 months from let's get that striker we need to let's get that striker we need and how do we replace Saliba? Or let's get that striker that we need and how do we replace Odegaard? Things can really switch up real quick. I've lived it, been through it, I've seen it. And guess what? It's still the same surname that runs the whole thing. I don't give a toss about whether it's Edu, Raul Sanlei, even Gazidis, Vinay Venkatesham, Sir Chips Keswick, Mikel Arteta, Arsene Wenger, Unai Emery. Doesn't matter. Kroenke. Yeah, that's what matters. Comedy Star TV says Turkish is enough is enough. The Kroenkes KSC destroyed Arsenal since they've come to our club in 07. They said be excited, but for what exactly? To be in the top 4. Hashtag same old story. Seemingly so, my brother. Seemingly so. Oh, well, I read it now, Hisham. I'm sure you saw my reaction on it. But yeah, Marino is injured. Amazing. Transfer deadline day. Stay tuned. Hilton says the next signing needed to be that player that puts the shit into opponents. Yes. Yes, people. There are people that get it. When I say this sometimes, people look at me and they look at me like I'm mad. And I look at them like, am I mad? Surely it was the summer to add the stars. It was the summer to add the all of that. This was the summer for that. We haven't done that. We haven't done that. It's the old salt and pepper shakers. It's just, nah, we want this. This is different. You think this is the same as this? Nah, it's not the same. If you know, you know. It's not the same. The style, pizzazz. I don't see it happening. What are we doing? Getting man vexed, Hilton. Gotta stay calm like me. You gotta stay calm like me. I big up the community, man. Hit the like button, man. Flamboyant, prof. That's what it is. Flamboyant. We needed that. We didn't need. We needed. You think Sterling is this? Okay, now. Sterling ain't even this. Sterling is you get the salt and you just pinch it and just throw it on it, man. Just see what happens, man. It might just flame up and ruin the whole thing, or it might just add that just right amount. Vicky also says, by the way, after we finished second to Leicester, we didn't see top 4 for 7 years. Well, nah, you're wrong there. Nah, you're wrong there. Wait, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Sorry, I'm wrong. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. You can't stand still in this league. How long until Saka, Saliba, and Odegaard decide they want to win something? You know what? You lot might think I'm reading the super chat and then giving it as my fault because I've just said that. But I'm glad this is why the community here. I love it, man. How could I let you lot go for a year? Doesn't make sense. Have we hit 1,000 likes? So I'm saying I love you. I mean, we might not even be on 1,000 likes. Let me check. Whilst I check it, we're not. You can make it happen, people. Because if I check and we're not on 1,000 likes, then my heart might be broken. If I'm honest with you, and I don't know how I'll be able to continue this stream with a broken heart. I can try. Oh, people. 777. Arsenal breaking my heart on deadline day. The community breaking my heart on deadline day. This is not the live I expected. But we soldier through because we've got super chats to get through. Love you, Turk, says Abdullah. I love you too, my bro. But I want to point out a few things. Oof, there's a but there. Let me take back that I love you because it seems like you might challenge me. No, I'm joking. We only get the news fed to reporters, 100%. I genuinely believe we tried, but couldn't find the right one. Abdullah, no one puts down these in the nose and reporters as much as me. That's why I don't even do much transfer talk because I don't give a shit who David or Fabrizio said we're linked with. Yeah, let me see the guy with the shirt like this, and we're good. And we're good. Well, we're good if the guy's good. And you've also added we've net spent so much in the last 3 years, so we are limited. Don't want to risk allocating the remaining budget for quote anyone. But Abdullah, they're paid. So even if the main target was unattainable, what about plan B and plan C? There should always be in any good running business. Like Trossard was a good plan B, no? No? Who else was a plan B? Jorginho was a plan B. They've turned out to be good plan Bs. But at the same time, you keep on failing to get your plan As and keep getting your plan Bs. How the hell are you going to be the A team in the league? Eventually, you're gonna have to start getting your plan A's. So I'd expect phase 5, year 5, plan A's through the door. Do you get what I'm saying here? So as much as, yeah, you might be right, and you probably are right, I don't care. 5 years, 5 phases, and now I'm hearing not taking the risk on anyone. Brothers, it's your job to know who you want. I'm not telling you to take a risk on anyone. Take a risk on the people you surely have on your list, no? Or you don't have a list. That's the problem. I fail to believe that. I really fail to believe that. Someone as meticulous as Mikel Arteta is in terms of his management style, you think there's not a list of candidates in the positions he needs? I'd assume so. Colin says, I was 18 when Arsenal won their last title. 18. I was 16, so yeah, not far off. My teenage years were the best footballing years of my life. Looking back now, I couldn't have imagined the next 20 years being so shit. Colin, sometimes I just think about the same thing. I value that time in school so much with the way Arsenal were moving. I mean, it was incredible. No one could chat shit. Even though Man United still won more things. The players we had, the Vava Vum, oh, crazy. And you're right, the next 20 years, I mean, who would have thought it? Who would have thought this? But hopefully the new generation live through a similar generation to ours, Colin, because it needs to come. HCU says, not justifying it. Maybe Arteta and Edu did not buy as their first choice target. You see? And HC, I'm not angry with you. I'm not angry with you. I'm angry. I'm just angry. I'm an angry person, I guess. But it's not necessarily you. Don't get twisted. I'm angry at that first sentence, but I just don't want you to feel as personal. But if you couple that up with what Abdullah said before and a few more other comments, it goes back to the whole you're making excuses for them. Let them come out and say we couldn't get our main target. Let them come out and say that. And then there'll be more foundation for you to say it because Dave said it. But without them saying it, it just feels like excuses. Because again, I could say, what about their second choice target or their third choice target? But who knows? Maybe they did go for all three. But unless they tell us or at least show us and give us a glimpse, it's all guesswork. But I'll tell you what's not guesswork is that fucking buzzer or whatever happens at 11 p.m. It closes and we are the way we are, or we are the way we are with Sterling. It's not good enough. They may not want to be saddled with a makeshift player when their first choice becomes available. Maybe what saddled how he was with Lukonga, you mean? Or saddled with how he was with Eddie Nketiah? Or saddled with how we are with Reece Nelson now? Like that? But those ones are on them. So, on one hand, you can say maybe they don't want to take that risk, but on the other hand, there's risks that have been taken that have failed to work out. Listen, we nearly spent 100 million on Mudryk last January. A year and a half later, we haven't bought a winger. 2.5 years ago, we were interested in 70 million Vlahovic, apparently. 2.5 years later, we haven't bought that profile of striker. So tell me how these things make sense. I just don't understand it. Blicky again says, City have not strengthened and got a case coming. This is our chance. How long until Chelsea or United are back? Last time we won the league, I was 9. I got 2 degrees and 7 years work experience now. What's happened since the last time we won the league for me? Since Arsenal last won the league, I passed my A levels. I went to university. I failed my first year at university. Then I went on to complete university, get a 2-1 in business management. Then I struggled to find work. So I worked for Next, I worked for Ladbrokes, I worked for TFL. Then I got a graduate job at Royal Mail as an operations manager. I'd done that for 2 years. Then I was moved on to project manager at Royal Mail whilst undertaking the project management agile course. So I've got that qualification as well. I've had a son. I've lost my nan, rest in peace. And I've lost 3 friends along the way too. And we've lost Claude as well, obviously a popular member of the Arsenal community and channel. It's mad. We could all do the same thing. It's absolutely crazy. Just bring me that league title. Such says we missed the aura at Arsenal, standing in the tunnel which had Vieira, Campbell, Bergkamp, and Henry. I can't think of anyone who could bring that fear. Instead, Suj, and I like you've used aura in the right sense there, because it's not just saying aura because someone's got long hair and a hairband, or someone's got some GQ cheekbones. You're saying aura because these men were winners. These men were gifted. These men would scare the life out of their opponent before they even touched the grass. You've used aura in the right sense. Campbell, Vieira, Bergkamp, Henry. Come on, that's aura. Another one here. Jatin says, sometimes I don't know what these so-called fans are smoking. 8 months, 180-page profiles, and still cannot find players. Act like a serious club. Needed a striker for 3 years, but apparently we couldn't get our first choice target this summer. So 3 years it took us to get a first choice target, and then in 3 months we realized we couldn't get him, and that's it. We're going to move on another year. I might not be here another year. Did anyone think of that? No, they don't think of that because they don't care. There's no real ambition to win the league, because we could have done everything that I wanted us to do this summer and still not win the league. That's that's part and parcel of the game. No divine right. You're up against beasts. You're up against teams that have a great manager, great players, and so on. No, it's not a given. But what is a given is if you don't do what you need to do, you're more likely going to fail. And we've seen that as Arsenal fans more than any other club in the Big Six. We didn't do what we should have done having moved into the Emirates. And lo and behold, last 5 years, we've made losses. We dropped out of top 4, and we haven't won a league title for 20 years. Mike Will says, Turkish bro, you just want to be angry. They don't need to say anything to please you or me. There is no guarantee Plan B wins us anything, just like Sterling doesn't. Going off 12 months too early, brother. 12 months too early. I'm not going off. Why do people think this is going off, Mike? I appreciate the super chat, and same way I appreciate the positive ones of me as well. But why do you think I'm going off? I don't understand how else I can. Look at me. I'm laid back. My arms are to the side, chilling. I'm just. Do I look? Is this a man that's going off? I don't know. I fail to believe that. But it's just me giving my opinions, and my opinions tend to be blunt, harsh, unrealistic to some, negative to others, pessimistic. All of that. It's just my opinion. I haven't shouted. I haven't, swore left, right, and center. You said there's no guarantee Plan B wins us anything, just like Sterling doesn't. There isn't a guarantee that even if we bought Mbappe would win side. I didn't say there was a guarantee in any of this, Mike. You're bringing guarantee into it because that's your way of strengthening your argument. But I didn't say guarantee, so throw that out of the window, please. Because we could buy Mbappe and Rodrigo this summer and still not win the league. There's no guarantee. But guess what would happen if you bought an Mbappe or a Rodrigo, or if you bought a Gokhan or Isak or whatever, more realistic ones, would have more hope and belief that we would. No guarantee, but more hope and belief that we would. And I'll go back to what I just said. How many times have we seen us not take the risks in the window to end up failing? We have seen that more than any other fan base. More than any other fan base. Don't get twisted. Man United and Chelsea have seen them take the risks and fail. So their issue is different to ours. But our issue is we fail to take the risks and fail. So whether we fail to take the risks and fail, or they take the risks and fail, they are both failure. You're right. Because there's no guarantee. You take risks and don't take risks. There's no guarantee. But I think the way for 20 years now, we were dragged through the mud. Our greatest ever manager was, ridiculed at the club because of the protection he had to give the owners. The club is now making losses for 5 years straight. We had to sell all of our best players, and some of those best players, that Fabregas and Van Persie, told us what the club was on. Surely we are in a position as fans to demand that we take risks now, because we are the club that didn't take the risks and learned that led to failure. So how about we take the risks, and if we need to learn that will lead to failure, let's learn it. Let's learn it. That's my point, Mike. Hopefully I've kind of calmly Gave you my perspective. Gunnar Huss says, hope you're well, Turkish. I'm fine. I'm fine. Some people think I'm losing it right now. I'm not. Maybe I need to put my legs up on the table and just chill out like this and do my next streamers. How's this? How's this, people? Do I look relaxed now? If I did this, if people would it be more calmer? If I just said, yeah, I don't like the Kroenkes like this. It's calm. It's like I'm on a beach chair. I don't know how people want me to say it. If we couldn't, for some reason, get a striker, we should have. That's my point. We should have at least got a winger. No excuse. We are touching distance from winning the league. We need the X factor that we are lacking. My point. My point. Exactly. What are you not saying? You like the beach chair look, yeah? Don't worry, man. I'll bring that in. Big up Siddharth. He says, we don't have enough to talk like the wheels have come off. No, I didn't say the wheels have come off. We don't have enough to talk like the wheels have come off. Judge the team. Nah, Siddharth. Again, this goes back to the whole risk-taking, failure, and no guarantee and all that. Of course. So are you saying because I'm giving my perspective now, I can't judge the team in May the same way you will? No, you can give your perspective now as well. Do you think we're going to win the league? Say it. Do you think we're going to fall just short? Say it. Doesn't stop you from giving your perspective in May. And I haven't insinuated the wheels have fallen off. I've even said on this stream and every other stream, we can win the league. Even if the window closed in 1 minute and Sterling didn't even come in. We can win the league. I'm saying that we can. I don't think we will. That doesn't indicate I've said the wheels are falling off. But what I'm saying is we are around the corner. 2 years ago, do you know how great it was and important it was that Saliba, Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, these men all signed new contracts? Do you remember how we felt? That's 2 years ago now. We felt great because there was security. Finally, we nailed down our quality players to longer contracts. But at the time, I said, these men have all gone for 4-year contracts. I think one of them has +1. It might be Saliba. One of them, or maybe 2, but a few of them is 4, just straight. I always thought it's a bit... I don't understand the 4-year thing. I'm not saying death row contract like Chelsea, 11 years, 9 years. I'm saying 5 years would have been secure. 5 + 1, maybe. It wasn't to be, but remember how good we felt at that time. So let's not ignore how we'll feel with them being on 2 years left without a major trophy coming in. Because as good as we felt 2 years ago with them signing it, I'm sure part of the reason why it's a 4-year contract is because they also want to know if we're going to kick on, if we're going to do it. Because you think I'm the only one that knows what Van Persie said or knows what Fabregas said or knows what Henry said? The players would know as well. You think Saka hasn't read up on or known how Fabregas felt when he was young and all the burden was on him and we didn't support him as much. We didn't give him the necessary tools around him or even a good backup option. Of course they have. So I'm just preempting a potential. This is what you do in business as well. You like I would hope that Kroenke and Arteta and Edu and these men have preempted the same risks I have, because in business that's what you do. You identify a risk before it becomes an issue. Sorry, I've been out of the professional business world for a long time, but this is part of project management too. You identify the risk before it becomes an issue. So the risk is if we don't win something this season, the issue could be that these players that have got 2 years left have the power and will seek moves to clubs that are winning or they feel more secure about winning, potentially. Barnu says, these people repeating the rhetoric of, quote, the one talk as if we're pulling the likes of Mbappe. Exactly. These very people now wanting Isak were dismissing him years ago. Actually, with Isak, I did dismiss him a couple of years ago. Again, I hold my hands up. I don't mind. When he had 6 goals at Real Sociedad, I was like, well, 70 mil, this is a big risk. But, you know, I didn't like the signing of Ben White either. I've learned a lot over the years. But at that time, it did seem nonsense. But 2 years on, I'm saying spend 100 million on him. Shameless. But I'm not being paid by the club to make these decisions. And even though we didn't get Isak that time, we didn't get Vlahovic too. And we ain't got a striker since. So we're still talking about Isak. So yeah, people might say, oh, 2 years ago, you didn't want him. Yeah, I didn't at the time. I would have hoped we had someone come in those 2 years that would have taken the attention away. But we haven't. Is that my fault? It's not my fault. Same with Gokhan, repeat the cycle with Gokhan. To be honest, Gokhan would have been exciting. Don't know much about him, but at least it's a striker that's caused some noise and could have caused problems for us. Hassan says, yo, Turkish, big up. Would love a call-in show. Been wanting to speak to you and the Big Six. The Big Six call-in will be Monday, 9th of September. And I will do one call-in show a month on my channel as well. I think you deserve it. Not just you, as the community in general. The way you stuck by this channel for the last year. It's been mad. And look, Vicky, new member. I'm gonna get these last super chats in, and then I'm gonna call it a day here, people. Obviously, I'm live on AFTV later today as well, for the transfer deadline shows. So make sure you're subscribed to AFTV as well. But make sure you're subscribed here. And like I said, no more super chats. I've got 16 here, so please bear with me, people. We're already hour 15 minutes in, so I don't want to miss any. I want to get these ones in. KD says Marino was injured in first training, out for weeks. You almost lost it when Rob said the window is good. Funny enough, I just see Rob here now. KSC out, unforgivable, no coming back from this. Kudus, I don't like seeing Kudus' name because that was perfect for us. We signed Havertz. But Waka Waka AA and all of that, right? Waka Waka AA, dog, and throw this. You see, now I'm gonna flip, man. Throw this laptop across the thing now. Mike now sending a super chat saying, "Don't overreact." Can't believe Rob said good window. Marino injured. Yep, we know. Sterling left wing, Gabby right wing cover. Nope, doesn't interest me. Big up Jill. Fracture. We know. Patrick, is the plan to go big in the January transfer? Patrick, another thing I've heard so many times. We've got January. January comes. You can't do business in January. You can't get who you want in January. Okay. Summer comes. Trust the process. It's just a cycle. I want to go into a season where we don't even talk about the January window. We've done so good in the summer window that none of us even care that the January window is open. In fact, close that. Close that window because we've shut it down in the summer. That's the sort of summer I want. Far too often we look at January and say, oh, could it be the... Nah, bro. Nah. There's only so much Arteta can do. Can't sustain. But that's why it's key to see if he signs. Will he take the risk in his reputation by signing if he's not happy with what they've done? We'll see. We're this close, says TKA, yet we refuse to buy what we need. Yeah, we was this close with Fabregas. We was this close with Van Persie. We was this close with Ozil and Sanchez. We're this close with Saliba, Odegaard, Saka, etc. What did we do with this close with the previous examples? It went from this to this. Yeah. This time we wanted to go from this to this. Please, this, not this. Clubs aren't getting fined for FFP, docked points. Who's been docked points though? Who's been docked points by FFP? Everton's was PSR, right? Or was that FFP? I don't know, man. I don't know what it was. With respect to Robbie chatting shit, I'll mention that to him when I'm with him. Turkish, a real G. We simply aren't ruthless enough. Yep. Mike Will. We got another one here saying, I hear you, bro, but quote, taking risks, isn't it? Steve gave you examples of Pep waiting years till the right one is available at striker, mixing your anger with the Kroenkes with Arteta's squad building principles. Now, there's a balance because I don't disagree with what Steve said, but using Pep as an example is quite outrageous because Pep needed 1 year in this league, took the risks he needed to take the next summer. Remember when we was all saying 200 mil on fullbacks and all of this, took the risks he needed to take and won the league, and won the league 6 out of 7 times since. So it's different. And again, you can't compare us to C because we haven't got that money. But Steve's saying that it comes from a place where he's a winner. He's seen his club win so much. So it's easier to talk about that side of things, the patient side of things. We're in a very different circumstance to Man City. Very different situation. We've been very different clubs for the last 15, 20 years. Well, let's say 10, 15. So Steve's right in terms of making sure who you get is the right ones. But am I wrong in saying that we should have more than one target in each position? Or do you think that's right for business? Do you think it's right that if that one target's not available, we could wait 3 years for that? Because it's been 2.5 since Vlahovic. It's been 1.5 since Mudryk. Mudryk, I mean, the striker is definitely going to more than 2.5 years. So by January, it'll be 3 years. And by next summer, it'll be 3.5 years. Mudryk's at 1.5 years. We might sign Sterling and that might cut that whole winger interest, even though it's underwhelming. So I get it, and I agree with Steve's point, but it's very easy to say it from where Man City are than to say it from where we are. We ain't got time to wait. Like I said to you, Mike, the plan might be to wait 12 months for Sesko. What happens if in 12 months the new manager comes to City and they get Musiala? What happens then? How do you feel then? With us getting Sesko, we waited 12 months for him, but Man City's new manager gets Musiala. How do you feel optimistic that we're going to do better than them? It'd still be very much we're dealing with this powerhouse. I feel like this was the season. And I don't think City will mess about next season like they have this season. Gunnar Huss says, this reminds me of the start of the 15-16 season when we're close and ended up buying Czech. And what happened? That's another transfer window. We bought Czech in the first 3 weeks, and then for the next 12 weeks, we've been through some bullshit, people. Giroud couldn't find his shooting boots, and we lost that to Leicester. We are old enough to know the script from the past. Let's not forget when we needed a striker in that January window and we signed Kim Kallstrom. I should just play the outro now. But there is 8.5 hours left of the window. I don't believe we've been linked to anyone in the last 30, 45 minutes. Otherwise, the chat would have let me know. So on that note, people, I think I'm going to call it a day for the day. If it's worth coming back online live later, I might do that. The love is strong. The numbers are strong. Have we at 1,000 likes? We haven't. We're still on 800. Oh, we are on 1,000. Sorry, pardon me. It didn't refresh. The likes are strong. So if there's a reason for me to come back live, I might come back. It might be a late one. It might be 11 p.m. Might be midnight. We'll see. If not, make sure you're subscribed. Hit the like button. Love for the love. All of that. I'll be back again real soon, people. Whether it's later tonight or whether it's Sunday night for another one-on-one, or whether it's the OGs on Monday. Make sure you're subscribed. Notification bell on. Love for the love as always. And hopefully this has been a calm one. No overreaction. Love for the love. Peace. Buzzer beater. We got a super chat at the buzzer. I don't like to leave the community, even though I did warn you, but I will get it in. What about this financial expert on TalkSport was saying that Arsenal are not even close to PSR limits? They're just blagging to hold fans. Yeah. All of a sudden, we're tight with PSR and FA. All of a sudden. Before it was our wage bills the best in Europe. We've done amazing to cut down what we regenerate the squad. And all of a sudden, PSR, FFP. Don't worry, next year it'll be VPS. That'll be the next 3 words. VPS. And then the year after that, it'll be ZXT. We can't sign players. ZXT. ZXT. Why do you think we can sign players? I should have just wrapped up the show when I wrapped up the show. But this time I'm wrapping up the show. So love for the love, people. I'm out. Peace.